Hello, everyone, and welcome to what is the inaugural episode of I Really Don't Know. It's your boy DJ BenHaMeen, alongside my man BJ Kicks, and we're here to talk some comics. As you all know, this man right here is the legend behind comics are dope. I'm
Legend.
myself, huh?
I said, I don't know about legend, but
I mean, come on,
I'm,
fam.
I'm
Come on,
here.
let's keep it real. Keep it real. The YouTube is popping, you know what I mean, doing interviews with all kind of luminaries, all kind of people who cause a bit of ruckus in the comics industry.
We'll get to that.
We'll definitely get to that. I myself am DJ BenHaMeen, one of the hosts of For All Nerds. You might know me from my little hashtag comics I copped, out there, check it out. And a bunch of other few things I've done, Jimi Hendrix, Purple Haze, Eisner nominated, all that good stuff. We'll get more into that, of course. But today we're here to talk about our 4 favorite comic books from July 2025.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Straight up. So, what do you have up first?
Oh, up first. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Well, let's go ahead.
Gotta.
Should we start hot? Should we start hot? I'll put in a lighter one.
Okay.
Let's go Speed Racer issue
Hmm.
one. So
Okay.
this came out just yesterday. So last week of July.
Mm-hmm.
It's written by David Pepose. It's got art by David Tinto,
Mm.
coming from Mad Cave Studios, and
Mm.
it is pretty much exactly what you might expect. It is Speed
Mm-hmm.
Racer uh, in a comic book in 2025. So for me, I read I watched Speed Racer as a kid. They used to do like these reruns at like 10 p.m. on Cartoon Network.
Wow.
Was absolutely past my bedtime, but I would like turn the TV down real low because Speed Racer was just dope.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't, as much as I remember watching Speed Racer, I don't really remember the plot of the story at all. Like it's just this dude, he's got this cool car. His family is basically like his pit crew. You know what I'm saying? The car can like saw people and do all sorts of stuff. And he's racing, which is fine, but half the time he spends like just being on the run or fighting against people that are trying to steal the car from him.
Mm-hmm.
That's pretty much the show from what I remember.
Yeah, you said you don't remember the plot, and you just named it all. Other than he also has the mysterious Racer X, and
Yes.
that's pretty much the plot of every episode of Speed Racer.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah,
I
it's
didn't know if
not
I had
much,
missed
and
anything.
there's a little chimp, right?
Yeah, there's a
And
chimp.
there's a chimp, and
There's a
that
chimp.
and that pretty much, yeah.
Right. Like I just don't remember like any overall story like
No, no,
opening. So it
no,
was just
no.
just episodic. Okay.
Yeah. It's very much episodic. No, this is well before, or well, not well before, but Speed Racer did not, as far as I remember. Because for me, Speed Racer used to come on reruns as well, but they were like, I want to say early morning, or when you missed school, you could catch Speed Racer. I can't remember exactly when it was, but I caught a lot of Speed Racer as a kid, and I remember no plot either. Yeah,
Okay.
so. Mm-mm.
So, well, this basically takes all those ingredients and then
Mm-hmm.
gives it like some heart. So,
Mm.
um, as we open issue one, Speed Racer is basically like he's too fast, too furious, right? Because some of us jumped on with the second movie, not the first, right? And I was one of those.
Mm.
Like Tyrese, Ludacris. I'm like, all right, cool. We can
Yeah.
get with this. Um, but it's like he's doing underground street racing.
Mm-hmm.
He wants to be a Formula X driver, which is the name of the racing circuit or whatever. His dad is very much against it. Um, and so yeah, the first issue we just get this really dope like race. He's running from the cops, he's running from whomever, ends up at home in a confrontation with his dad, who's like, clearly you're out in these streets racing my car that I told you not to be racing, you know. And then just like in the show, there are people that are after this car. The
Mm-hmm.
car is, of course, built by his pops. So they're after this tech that his pops created, invented. And so there's a confrontation, and we'll kind of leave on a cliffhanger for the next issue. But what I really enjoyed about this one, though, was like all of that heart they injected. Like
Mm.
we know from the anime that Speed has this brother that died allegedly, but he didn't really die. He's just Racer X, and
Mhm.
that's got to be the most jerk thing to do, by the way. Like, like your entire family thinks you're dead.
Yo, I mean, I wonder how I felt about it as a kid because as an adult, it's like, yo, that is some wild dude. Like for real, that's cold blooded. Maybe
Yeah,
he didn't like his family like that. That's the only excuse I have for
but
it.
no, that's the weird part, right? Because
No, because he hangs around and helps
he
out.
hangs around him. Like Racer
Yeah.
X, his whole deal
No, he
is
still
that
don't
like
like him like
Speed
that,
is in
dog.
trouble, and Racer X will just like secretly help him, and nobody knows who Racer X is. It's like, surprise, I'm your dead brother. Like, what?
I mean, yeah, I never really thought about it, you know what I mean? But it is quite true because that's a lot of grief that whole family holds every day of their life. The
Right.
mom, the dad, every day can't sleep at night, et
Right.
cetera, et cetera. Speed racer, you see how thin that boy is growing up, not eating,
Right.
and Racer is just out there living life, fly car, fly outfit. I mean? Nobody knows who he is. Everybody just like, ooh, who's Racer X? It's
Right.
like, come
Right.
on,
But like,
bro.
'cause, like the whole heart of, Speed Racer's relationship. First of all, Speed Racer is this man's real name. First name, last name, Speed Racer. But the whole thing with Speed and Pops is like, look, I already lost
So it's the
one
Racer
son.
family? Is it
Yes.
Mr.
Like
Racer?
that dude's name is Mr. Racer.
I mean, look, it was predestined.
I'm gonna name my son Speed.
You can't do much else, bro, when your name is Mr. Racer. You gotta be in the business.
First of all, your last name is Racer. You're gonna have a son named Speed, but he's not the first one. Like the first kid gets a regular. The first kid's name is Rex. It's
Well,
Rex.
Rex Racer is pretty hard too.
That is dope. That's dope.
That's pretty dope. You know what I mean? Alliteration always wins.
Yeah.
And Road Racer wasn't working, so
Rally Racer. Yeah. But yeah, but the whole point of Pops and Speed's relationship is like, I lost one son to race cars. I'm not gonna lose another one.
yes, you
Meanwhile,
are.
Rex is on the track every week, like, nah, I'm not dead. I'm right here. That is insane.
Yeah, that's what I wonder. Okay, I did read this as well, and I enjoyed it, especially the relationship they're building between Speed and Shorty. What's her name? Because she's from the show as
Oh,
well.
Trixie.
Trixie, which that's problematic. But yeah, I really enjoyed what they're building there. But I wonder, will they get into this idea that Racer X Rex is causing nothing but drama and grief for his family?
Right. It has to come up.
It has
It has to.
to, because I never really thought of it, but it's horrific.
Right. It's terrible. I don't know. I mean, I guess that's kind of part of the whole point. Like, Speed can't know Racer X is his brother. Did you read the manga? Like,
No,
do they
no.
address it there? Okay.
Did they address it there?
I don't know. I have the
I,
manga. I
I,
haven't read it.
I've, and people always talk about how good the Wachowski sibling Speed Racer is, and
Uh,
I've tried to watch it so many times
mhm.
and never really gotten through it. I don't think they address it there at all because that movie is like bright lights and shiny things throughout.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I doubt it. I would feel like they had to do it in the manga.
Yeah, I would assume so.
But I feel like I've never heard anybody even bring this up before how trifling Racer X is. It's like
Right.
it's like this is something that we've been missing all the time. Because I just read the issue too and didn't think nothing of it. And I know the story, but yeah, that is so trifling.
Right. Like, if you're gonna fake your death, like go move to an island or something.
Yeah,
Like,
bounce, bro.
don't move next door to me and like always show up when I need something. Like, oh, hey neighbor, here's a cup of sugar. Like, bro.
But also, like, if you're gonna fake your death, what? Like, hold up, bro. Like, let's go back to that. Like, why are you faking your death? like, like,
Like, and how do we even get to that point, right?
yeah,
It's presumed that he died in, well, it's not presumed. They show he died in a car crash.
yeah. So, like, why did he need to fake Did he know? Okay, I get it. He knows that people are coming after his pops, so he's
Okay.
like, I'll fake my death. That way, they think I'm dead, they're not gonna come after me anymore, and then I can strike back on my pop's enemies.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
That makes sense. But at what point do you leave your kid in the hospital and never come home with the body? Like,
Wait, what?
I'm saying, like, for his family, is it just like,
No,
oh,
there's no body. He blew up in the car crash.
oh, okay,
Yeah,
so you
nobody
have no
recovered.
memorial service? Okay,
Yeah, dust.
that man probably looked like Deadpool under that Racer X uniform.
Yeah, I now see now we're like there's so many levels to it that I don't know if they're gonna ever get into in this book. But
Right, right.
like did he leave someone else's body in that car? Like whose body? I thought we were starting off light.
We are so off the rails already. But
Yeah.
um, for as much as I'm being unserious right now, I really enjoyed how much depth this book had emotionally.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it just, I could identify, maybe not identify, but I could sympathize with every character's position, right?
Mm-hmm.
Pops doesn't want to lose another son. Speed literally is born to race. Like, you don't give a kid a name Speed Racer and not expect him to be racing cars. And
We're
he,
doing massive drugs.
right, right. And he pulls out the Brandon T. Jackson speech. He's like, "We're broke. I'm broke." But he pulls that out on his dad, like, "Look, man, we got all these bills. The prize for this race is $1 million. Like, come on, be serious. I could do this. And we have this car that we could use that nobody can beat this car." So it's like, okay, cool. Already, this is way more depth than I remember from the cartoon at all.
Definitely.
So
I always remember money issues, but it was always lighthearted money issues,
yeah.
Yeah.
So it's like, and even the little kid, Spritle, right? He was a very problematic character in that cartoon.
He
Right?
was?
Between him and the monkey, like just the depiction,
Oh,
right?
all right. Yeah, I don't want to think about it too much.
Yeah, but they gave him something to do, like, because Speed Racer's little brother is basically like the bookie. Like, all right, you want to bet on my big brother? Cool. Odds are 10-1, whatever, whatever. He's collecting and giving Speed his cut. Meanwhile, he's also like managing the Instagram presence or whatever. So it's like he's got it all going on. He's the shrewd
The
kid.
man is FanDuel.
Yeah, he's Bow Wow in Tokyo Drift, like,
He's underdog.
Man's
We got
prize.
to start sponsoring podcasts.
Right.
Oh, God. Oh, all right. Any more on Speed Racer #1?
Nah, man, it was a solid debut issue. David Peppo's books are always good. The colors in this are really good. It reminds me a lot of, like, street racing, like video games I used to play, like Midnight Club and all that.
The art's incredible all throughout. I was definitely not sure if I've seen that artist on anything else, but stunning work there.
Yeah. I think it was a great mashup of like the Western and Eastern stuff, because it was a manga first, and it's got that sort of visual tone of a manga, but it's got the colors, it's got the panel, it's like everything. It was really good.
Colors reminded me of like Far Sector, the Green Lantern book.
Yeah,
that type of like really advanced coloring techniques and stuff.
Yeah,
really nice, really layered.
Right. So, yeah, that's all I got. It was dope. You should buy it.
All right, definitely cop that. First up, I'm gonna start off with something. I think I'm gonna go really dark.
Okay.
Because since we decided to start light and then went dark, I'm gonna just go dark and then see if we can go light. My first pick is a book that I'd forgotten about. I read the first issue when it came out, 4 months ago, and then just pretty much forgot, and then saw that the last issue came out this week, and so I picked it up and went back and read the other 4. And it's Out of Alcatraz, which is a 5-issue miniseries by the Eisner Award nominated writer Christopher Cantwell. They did Plastic Man No More and Briar. I want to actually read Plastic Man No More now. And Tyler Crook, also Eisner Award nominated for Harrow County and the Lonesome Hunters. And Out of Alcatraz, it definitely takes place, I want to say, I feel like this is like a 1970s, 1960s, but it's also kind of like one of those timeless type books. And it's about four inmates who escape from Alcatraz. And the book really kicks off in the first issue with the four having already escaped. And they're, in Alcatraz, so they had to escape over the seas. And not all four make it out from jump. One doesn't even get out of the prison. He's still stuck in there when the other four, and then one gets dropped in the water. So it's two brothers, and one of the brothers goes in the water in the first issue. So the other two are trying to make their way. They meet up with their contact on the outside, and the things go from there. And it's a very criminal noir book. There's the FBI and a marshal after them. I just really enjoyed it, like right off jump. Like you want to talk about heart and stuff, even though these are hardened criminals, it really gets you involved in everyone's story right away. Where after the first issue, even though I forgot, I really was like, damn, this is a really good book, because it's really not the type of book that I normally pick up all the time. But something about I was like, whenever I see a first issue with an ill name and out of Alcatraz just caught me. So I was like, let me check this out. So it got me. The art is really nice. It looks like painted watercolorish type art. I'm not sure how they're doing it, but it's a very fluid and dreamy type of story, even though it does get very violent, very dark, like I said, criminal noir type story, LA Confidential, things of that nature. The fifth issue is out this week, and yeah, I don't want to spoil too much because it is a limited series, and things go as they go. But it's one of those No Country for Old Men type stories where it doesn't end well for everyone. Not
Gotcha.
sure it ends well for most of the people. It just ends. Things don't end well. It just ends, as they say. But I thoroughly enjoyed it after I caught back up on it. Like when I was reading the issues today, I was reading through them. Like I was chewing through those issues. Like, yo, I need to finish this joint. And not just because we were reviewing it tonight, but I really wanted to find out what happened at the end of it. So it had me from start to finish out of Alcatraz. All 5 issues are out right now. You can check that out. Yeah, really enjoyed that joint.
I might have to check that out in trade. Looks like they're doing a hardcover in October.
Yeah, who's the publisher on that?
Oni Press.
Yes, Oni Press. Shout out to Oni Press. Yeah, definitely worth it for the hardcover because, like I say, it's a great 5 issues, like tight story. There's a lot of different elements to it beyond just the criminals. Their contact on the outside is a woman who is of mixed race and white passing. So there's that type of element in the story. The FBI agent and the marshal who are following them are actually gay lovers. So that's also going on. So it's like everyone has these other sides to them and multiple layers to the characters. And all of this stuff gets involved in the stories they're going on. And the last thing I want to say that I really loved about it is it's one of those stories where plot happens for like things just interfere, like everyone's got a plan so they get punched in the face. It's this type of story where everyone has a plan and then everyone gets punched in the face in various ways, and your plans just go completely different than what you thought you were going to do at the start of the story, and everyone ends up in places that I did not expect at the beginning of the story. And it was really great, especially the last issue. A lot of twists to get the characters to the ending where I was like, very satisfying.
Nice. That actually sounds like it must be a theme of Cantwell, because I read most of Plastic Man No More.
Okay.
And basically, Plastic Man was a criminal.
Yep.
He got these
a mobster,
right?
Mm-hmm.
And so the series is basically about how he was not really a redeemable character necessarily. Like, he went straight. He's gone with the Justice League. And there's this whole thing where it's like no one ever really took Plastic Man seriously.
Mm-hmm.
And like they've got these flashback sequences where he's like with the League and he'll bring up like some real point and everybody just kind of laughs him off like it's like the end of a Super Friends episode or something.
Yeah, damn.
And he's just like,
yo, I gotta read this immediately.
Yeah. And so like those that's happening in the flashback sequences, but what drives the plot forward is Plastic Man is disintegrating. Like whatever the accident that like made him Plastic Man,
Mm-hmm.
the end result of that is that you basically like just liquefy and die.
Mm.
And so that process starts for him. And he's like, yo, I have a son. Like, I don't
Mm.
want this to happen to him. I gotta like warn him. But he's
Mm.
estranged from his son and it's like his ex-wife because he was like, he was not a good person. You know, so the whole is it 3 4 issues is like his journey trying to like connect with his son to, hopefully like one, find a cure, but also like have his son give him the time of day so he can give him the cure. And so
Mm.
it's like, what kind of redemption can he find through this process, even though he's accepted that like he probably doesn't deserve it. So it was dope.
Mm. No, I'm definitely checking that out immediately because Cantwell had me with this 5 issue series. I love a writer who can just get me in that first issue and then deliver such a solid story in 5 issues where I'm gonna be thinking about Out of Alcatraz for a long time after, but it was only 5 issues and they packed a lot into it. So I
Or
definitely got to see this Plastic Man now.
dope. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Man, we left that on a little somber note. So let's let's turn up the shenanigans. Let's talk about Marvel Knights, The World to Come. Uh, issue 2 came out this month. Now, I don't know. I feel like the reactions were varied, right?
Yes.
But there was very much a collective gasp at the end of issue 1.
Mm-hmm.
Right? For those who aren't familiar, there's a white Black Panther now. Um, the series takes place as a sort of epilogue to the original Marvel Knights Black Panther run.
Mm-hmm.
And so it is an alternate universe, which I don't know how they're making that work.
Yeah,
They
because the
keep
original
saying it's
Marvel
alternate.
Knights wasn't an alternate universe.
Well, like technically it was, and then they kind of just folded everything in.
Oh, I never knew it was. I mean, I wasn't reading Black Panther like on the dot at the time, but I was reading Marvel at the time, and
Yeah.
I didn't know that whole thing was. But I knew Max was like kind of alternate, but
Yeah. I don't know if it was but again, I wasn't comics
yeah,
then, but like the way I understood it was just Marvel Knights was kind of more mature themed a little bit, like
yeah.
a little bit more daring in the storytelling.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know that it was set up as an alternate universe like in the way that Ultimate was at the time.
Yeah, no, Ultimate, because that's what really got me back in the comics was the Ultimate Universe and Marvel.
Mm,
At the time was Ultimate and New X-Men was really what got me back into Marvel. And I was reading those pretty exclusively, but I knew about Marvel Knights and I never considered it to be, I just was like, oh, that's Daredevil, that's Blade, I think,
uh,
Black Panther, Cage, I think was up in there for a while.
mm,
Yeah, so I knew that, and it was just like, all right, that's those they want to be adult, but they're not comics.
right.
That's how I looked at them.
Got you.
Yeah.
So yeah, so but according to Priest and Casada, this is it's in its own universe. So like whatever happens there doesn't affect everything else.
Why not?
Right. Sure. So
Yeah. I mean, it is affecting everything else, no matter where it happens.
right. Well, now, they also just announced the Marvel Knights Punisher is
Oh.
coming. So it
Mm.
seems like we're gonna get like a maybe now Marvel Knights is gonna be its own little universe, and they're gonna like keep spinning out more
Oh,
time.
so wait, this is this is where that new Punisher, like how they're bringing back Frank Castle again. This is where, or did they bring him back in the 616 already?
So there's no they haven't brought him back in the 616 yet.
Okay.
But to my knowledge, there are like 2 Frank Castle Punisher series in the works because there's like a
Yeah, that's what I
Punisher
thought.
Max type deal coming as
Mm-hmm.
well as this new Marvel Knights Punisher that's also coming.
So it's supposed to be the Black Punisher in Marvel Knights.
Yeah, probably not. But yeah, so Marvel Knights The World to Come opens up like uh they it's got this time it's this it's the classic Priest thing where every few pages you're in a different year and he's telling you different parts of the story kind of all at the same time.
Mm-hmm.
And so what we find out is that the main plot of The World to Come is happening like 40 years after the original Black Panther #1 that Priest did.
Mm-hmm.
And so in issue one, all we really saw was the state of the world is kind of crazy. We don't really know.
Mm-hmm.
Everything is like, dystopian future. And then we see T'Challa in tribal combat. And, at the end of the challenge, it's like, oh, surprise, this son I've been talking to the whole issue is white. And so, for the last month, we've been like, how does T'Challa have a white son? Is it that white dude that Monica Lynn was with when he proposed? Like, what is going on? And we get all those answers in issue two.
Mm-hmm.
So in issue two, we find out that uh, it was Everett Ross's kid the whole time. Everett Ross had a kid with Nikki, not Nikki from the State Department, but Nikki from the State Department's twin sister that we never knew existed. So he has this kid, this bastard child, because he never like claimed the kid. Somehow Wakanda found out about the kid and like went and basically bought the kid from his grandmother
Mm-hmm.
and to use as T'Challa's heir because T'Challa needed an heir. They got pregnant, but they miscarried. Like, I'm spoiling this whole issue, by the way. My bad. But
Oh, good. Because I have so many questions. I've read the issue as well, and I'm
okay.
like, why didn't they just pay for some black kid? Why Everett Ross's did? Like, what is the lineage here other than it's Everett Ross?
Right. Yeah. I don't understand why. First of all, they're in like, the most technology advanced country, period. Like
Yeah.
they couldn't have done in vitro. Like there was no test tube babies in
Clones.
Wakanda. Nothing. Like, so yeah,
But
I don't
why
know.
Everett Ross? You couldn't get a better white kid than that?
I guess because Priest, invented Everett Ross and was like, you know what, let's bring this back.
Wow. Yeah, because I've been searching my brain trying to figure out why Everett Ross, other than that answer. Because is it like Everett Ross saved T'Challa's life? And then what's up with the whole deal with Mephisto? Man.
So the deal with Mephisto happened like way back. Like,
Yep.
that was in the original run. And I don't know how that's legit. Like the first issue of Black Panther is Everett Ross recalling this time where Black Panther outsmarted Mephisto. But while, he's encountering Mephisto, he like tricked him into like selling his soul for a new pair of pants or something crazy. And like that's like a recurring joke throughout the run. Like he'll just wake up with no pants or whatever.
Yeah.
So they brought that back in issue two.
Okay.
But yeah, like it's interesting. On one hand, first of all, this book, the first issue had me like, because like I said, they tell the story in all these different snapshots from different time periods. So we're like 40 years in the future, 16 years in the future, 8 years in the past, like all this going on. And like, so, and then they have a timeline in the back of the book. And that part is even more interesting to me.
Yep.
And so the first issue came out and I was like, yo, I got to figure out what's going on. So I like wrote out the timeline and kind of placed all the events in order. Issue one, we find out Charles got his white son, like how he get his white son. So issue two is basically the story of how the white son came to be.
Yes.
And like I said, we had this mysterious narrator in issue one, this super old, pale guy. Turns out that narrator was Everett Ross the whole time. And
that's who that is?
Yes.
I still didn't. I guess I got that, and then I was like, okay, yeah, all right, yeah,
so
okay.
So when I interviewed Priest for something else, but this issue had just come out, and the way he said it was like it should have been obvious who the narrator was because, and like once he said it, I'm like, oh, I guess this makes sense. Like Ross was the narrator in the first run. Why would Ross not narrate the coda to the run? But it didn't come across that way to me either on first read. But in issue two, that it's made very clear, like this is back to, you're basically right back in the Marvel Knights world as it was before. Everett Ross with the snappy dialogue, all the jokes, racially insensitive and all that. So it's Ross. For whatever reason, Nikki died and he decided to just marry her twin sister. Like that was a replacement of something.
Logic.
Right. Like that's weird. But so he does that.
There's a lot of weirdness in this book, man.
Yeah. This world is like super chaotic. There's all kinds of crazy stuff going on. The way Nikki's sister died. What is the sister's name? Something with an N. Noelle.
Yeah.
So the way she dies, the Washington Monument like falls on her car.
Yeah.
Like it's like what? But yeah, so Washington Monument falls on the car. Got the bastard baby. Wakanda adopts the baby, and T'Challa basically just raises him as his own. Now, in this timeline, like or in the back matter, there is this article, like a almost like an encyclopedia entry, where somebody is this dude they call it was it William McGregor. So, but he's talking about Wakandan culture and explaining it to the American reader, and he makes the point that people in America look up to T'Challa as though he's some kind of hero.
Yep.
Because of his outfit, like because he looks like the superheroes they're used to. But he's like, he's not a superhero. That is like his ceremonial garb. And his only objective is to do whatever is best for his country because he is a monarch.
Yep.
And so that part was super interesting to me because then it's like, okay, with that as a backdrop, this is all T'Challa is born and bred to do. What is it about this this white baby?
Yeah, it makes
the tactician in him is like, I gotta go get that kid and bring him here.
That it does not make sense, man. I'm sorry. Like, at least so far,
Yeah.
And being like, as from what I understand, because I haven't read all of Priest's original run, the Elliot Ross of that universe is a bit of a buffoon. So it's like you can't imagine like these are good genes, shout out to Sydney Sweeney, where you're like, I'm gonna go get this white baby. I mean, you could go get Sydney Sweeney's white baby for that matter, and I mean, I'm sure the quality is about the same, but you can. There's got to be a better white baby out there. I'm sorry.
Right.
If you're gonna if you're gonna say, okay, I'm gonna have a white monarch of Wakanda out of nowhere. For no reason. Like, what would the people think? Yeah. Where did this white kid come from? Would be my first question if I was a Wakanda.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like, how did this happen?
And so that's the other
thing.
You
have no white wife.
Right.
So, like, get this white. I doubt the average Wakandan has any clue who Elliot Ross is.
True.
Like, any clue.
Right. But what's
this
crazy
must be so weird.
The when he brings home the white baby, everyone is like advising him against this. Like,
I mean,
obviously, why do you have this baby? Like, what are you doing, sir? And so
I just want to see the twist that T'Challa has. I don't see how, but I just want to know that somehow there's be a twist to this that is to make logical sense.
Yeah. At this point, I'm very much intrigued.
Oh yeah.
Like
I'm all the way in.
I'm all the way.
I can't wait for this book every month.
Yeah. And like, I guess in that way, it's brilliant. Like, what other book has you feeling like this right now? Like,
well, there are other books, but they're for different reasons.
Right.
This is like Power, where I can't wait to watch a new episode of Power because I just know what they're gonna give me.
So Priest's characterization of T'Challa has always been like he's 19 steps ahead of you. Right. And so with that characterization in mind, I'm like, okay, what in the world is the end game that has this as one of the moves on the chessboard? Like, and it's like that I gotta see.
I just wanted a white Wakanda, you know what I mean? But it's like that's not even achievable through this. Like I keep going back to how the average Wakanda must feel. Like one day, T'Challa's there getting old, and then suddenly this white kid shows up and beats his ass on the waterfall, and he's because you had no idea, like nobody knew about this white boy before that moment, right?
Right.
Until he pulled his mask off. That maybe like the elite knew, but that's it, right? Everyone else thought, they gave him a black name. Like,
Yeah. Well, I think Wakanda knew about the son because they're saying he raised him as a son, like he's bring
yeah, so he
home.
must have taken him out to the park and shit, and
Yeah,
yeah.
it's gotta
But
be.
what? Okay, again, with the multiple questions, and the average Wakandan, the Wakandan Inquirer must have been going buck wild with this one, bro, because you had two black wives, and then suddenly you have this pure white baby,
Pure white,
pure blonde hair, straight blonde hair, blue eyed white baby.
right? Like I don't know, but you know what's got me even
This
more
book's
intrigued?
amazing.
There's a cover. They just put out the cover for issue 5
Oh no.
or in October, and it is Baby Ross, in full Black Panther garb, minus the mask, sitting back watching the news with a cup of coffee, like just super pleased with himself.
Wait, Baby Ross? Oh, you mean?
Yeah, I
Yep.
mean Katama.
Okay. Wow. All right. I'm just glad you told me about it so I can forget and see it and cry laughing when I see it.
Like so, and that, like I said, that's the other thing that I think is fun about this. It's like
Oh.
I'm reading this with the context of like all the other priest stuff that I've read before,
Mm-hmm.
right? And he plays with race a lot,
Yes.
right? Like Quantum and Woody, even that
Mm-hmm.
Black Adam series he just had not
Mm-hmm.
that long ago. Like there's always some like commentary, that some twist. And Ross's character is enough, like alone is like, yo, that's crazy. Like why is this man so racist? Like,
and
and that's the fun part of this issue too. Like you're reading the narration, he's like, yeah, man, Wakanda's still Wakanda.
mm-hmm.
They're fighting over whatever, and people braiding hair in the background. Like, I'm like, yo, that's crazy. That's crazy. So I'm like, and Priest is very much online. He's very much seeing the responses to
Mm-hmm.
everything, right? And he's plugged in. So I'm like, this just feels like the whole audience is like on a string being played, and it's fun. It seems fun.
It seems fun now, right?
Uh,
Now, my only thing is this: I'm praying not that this turns out to be like Mark Millar wanted, where
uh,
it's like the joke's on you at the end. Ha
mm,
ha ha! I made all the money, I caused all the controversy, and then you're left with a white T'Challa.
mm. Well, it's set up so that that doesn't happen because when T'Challa dies in issue 1, it's like 60 years in the future and he's still on the throne. So like,
Yes, but what is the whole world to come, and why is it so chaotic? And
yeah, the way it seems,
it
or the way
seems like white T'Challa does a lot of horrible stuff.
does a lot of damage. He's
Yeah,
clear. It's like putting Scar on the throne in Agrabah,
yeah,
right? Or Jafar. Same
yeah,
same concept.
yeah.
Scar in Pride Rock, Jafar in Agrabah. Like the economy is going to tank. It's terrible. They're going to pass the big beautiful bill, and then they're going to see like the
Wow.
results of it, right? And so the story is apparently of what Ross's kid does while he's on the throne, how it
Mm-hmm.
throws the whole world into
Yep.
chaos, and then presumably how T'Challa gets control of the wheel back.
Mm.
Now the question is like, is it too little, too late?
Yeah.
Is he gonna right the wrongs, or is he just gonna die having ruined Wakanda's legacy, all because he decided to, invite the Fantastic Four over one day for a visit? So
I mean that could be a good message, as they say right there. Message. Don't ever let
mhm,
them in, but I also don't know. That's a pretty it's harsh. Oh man, I know everyone out there has heard about this book. It is from Awa Studios, AWA Studios, I guess. Shout out to who's over there from Atso Alonso, my brother
yeah,
Atso Alonso. Shout out to him. And they're doing a lot of interesting work over there. And this book is one of them. This book is flying off the shelves. Everyone's talking about it. They Choose Violence, Sheldon Allen. It's a story of four Black women who decide to choose violence. Literally, they basically all get fed up they've been fed up with things their whole life. It starts off, you see them in college, and they're just tired of everything that we deal with as Black people in America every day of our existence, and what we've been dealing with, since the inception of America, and probably what we're dealing with for a long time. And they're just tired of it. So they say, well, why don't we just, kill someone when a police officer gets off for shooting a young Black boy? Why don't we just kill that cop? And that's what they think about in college, but then they decide not to do it. And then years later, once they're all established, one of them actually becomes a police officer. Another one, I think, is an attorney. They all have, successful careers going on. And they're like, well, maybe it's time now. Another incident happens and they're pushed over the edge, basically. But they're not going to just do it haphazardly. They all train, one's a police officer, so they go to the shooting range, they start working out, they start planning, they get their list, they check it twice, et cetera, until they're ready to go. And then they choose violence. And I mean, they choose it. It is a super, like I talked about, out of Alcatraz, that has nothing on the level of violence in this book. This is not for kids. This is not for the squeamish. This ain't even for me, honestly, for a lot of it. I was even like, yo, this book is just a bit into the ultra violence. And especially in the second issue, they really get into how graphic the violence they've enacted on these people and the different methods of torture and how they all have their favorite method. Let's just say one of them involves a spiked dildo that they've named Lexington Steel.
That's a choice.
It's a choice, right? And that's how, like, the first issue had me, right? I was all in on it. I was like, okay, yes, because it's actually a concept. I did a short film back at Howard University called The Mad Face Killer, which was about this dude who, puts on the mad face and starts going around murdering politicians and lawyers and cops and everything of that nature. So it's, a dream that we've all pretty much had at some point, right? Probably, or maybe just me, I'm a little touched. But I also just, the Mad Face Killer was just out shooting people. There was no need for torture and this Lexington Steel references. And the twist, I will spoil this because this has actually been spoiled in all the press and everything. The twist at the end of the second issue is that a copycat killer starts going around killing Black people in the same fashions that they've been killing people. I was whelmed, honestly, by this twist. I was like really whelmed to the point of almost underwhelmed, to the point of almost like disagreeing with it. Because Black people in America have been getting killed in horrific ways since its inception, since before it was called America. I mean, horrific does not begin to describe it. And on a scale unbeknownst to humanity before it started here. So, to the fact where, Nazi Germany copied our methods to instill the Holocaust. So the idea that, 4 Black women killing some people it might inspire a copycat killer, true. But the idea that that's like, oh no, we shouldn't be killing people because we have a copycat killer is wild, because it's not like if you stop killing people, the cops are going to stop killing people. And to me, it doesn't matter how many cops you kill. The cops are still going to kill Black people. That's just the sad nature of the system. So yeah, the second issue kind of had me, man, where I was trying to like, I really would love to talk to Sheldon and the other creators of this book, and I'm definitely going to stick it out to see where it goes. But I definitely was kind of like, I don't know, man. I don't know.
Yeah, that's interesting.
Yeah, right.
I'm not one for grotesque violence just for the sake of violence on a page.
Not at all.
I'm probably never reading this book.
Straight up.
But like the idea of like people being fed up with the system and going out, all right, we're gonna take matters into our own hands. Like I can get with that to a degree. I agree, right? Like if just there being a copycat killer would not be enough for me to stop that if that were the mission.
Yeah.
Right? But yeah, so now I'm curious. I don't know if I'm curious enough to read it, but You have to tell me how it is as it ends.
Yeah, I will, because it's only 5 issues, so
Okay.
I'm gonna stick it out for the next 3 and see what happens. But I have to say that being, the big twist that is turning to issue 3 as we're getting into the second act, I was kind of like, you know, because
Yeah.
they'd already, decided to give up at one point because they were like, yo, this ain't working, et cetera. And then they realized that they basically can't even be, it was like, I had a lot of questions about the second issue because the crew decides to stop murdering because, different reasons. One, they know they'll eventually get caught, all this stuff. So when they stop murdering, it's like they can't be friends again. And the writer even has a line where, this is coming from the narration of one of the women, where he says, I'm gonna tell you a secret. Women can't stand each other. Like, even as friends, like best friend women can't stand each other.
Mm.
That really struck me weirdly. Like, that really was like, wow.
That sounds like some of that red pill stuff.
Yeah. And
uh,
like basically this crew of women could not remain friends unless they were out murdering people.
yeah, that's wild. That's
Like,
yeah,
and it's not said, the men can't stand each other, which, would make me feel a little bit better. I mean, untrue, but I mean, I can't stand a lot of my homies. So I get that, but like the fact that, we still remain friends without going around murdering people. And I would not think that most women need murder to remain friends with other women.
right.
I think
Yeah,
women are naturally more communal than men.
yeah, yeah. My wife's in mom groups and all kinds of stuff. Like I can go years without talking to my best friend in the world,
Oh,
and you know, she's
right.
not that way.
Shout out to my brother Drew. Like, I mean, we talked more than years, but it has been years of points, and that we instantly are together. But yeah, yeah, that like I say, there was a lot of stuff in the second issue where I was kind of like, wow, I don't know where this is going. I'm still intrigued. The level of violence is a little rough for me. I'm never a fan of torture at all in any circumstances. So, and that's when it like this, because first I was like, okay, they're just murdering these cats, cool, whatever. But then when they introduce, oh no, we're torturing them in horrible ways, I was like, yo, bro, they're gonna die at the end of it. It doesn't matter. Like, if you torture them and let them live, maybe, but you killed them. It doesn't matter how much you torture them. So, like that was
Yeah.
for your pleasure at that point, and that's really weird.
So like, do these? Is there any communicated? Like, I get why they're killing people or torturing or whatever, but are they communicating, leaving notes or anything to say like, hey, we'll stop killing when y'all stop killing black people?
I think there might have been, but it doesn't feel like that because when they took a break, it wasn't like, they'd accomplished anything because they went back to murdering later on and nothing had changed. So,
Yeah,
no, I
that's
don't think so. I'll have to check. But like I say, the description of the level of torture and in that line about women not being friends and the fact that this crew couldn't hang out until they murdered somebody else, like literally they get back together, it's 4 of them, like 3 of them planned this murder for one of them's birthday.
that's that's a thing. That's weird.
The book has a lot of choices, man. Like I
Yeah,
said, a lot of choices are being made in this book. I was really intrigued by the premise, and then that second issue, but I know we said this is our favorite books of the month, and I don't know if this was one of my favorites, but it was one of the books for the most. I was like, yo, now I really got to see what happens next month. So in a way, I guess this is the world to come.
well, okay, okay, okay. So yeah,
Yeah, I guess I did just like the world to come. I didn't agree with all the choices,
yeah,
but I'm still intrigued enough to see where it goes.
for sure. So
And they didn't at least unleash the plague of a white T'Challa on us. So,
that is great.
we
Okay,
ain't never
so
living that down, bro. Never.
not at all, not at
That,
all. Ryan Gosling is canon now.
I mean, it's pure canon. Like, yo, I was so dumb. I mean, young guru, I was like, yo, bro, there's gonna be a Marvel Legends of this cat
There's absolutely going to be a Marvel
so
Legend.
quick, and I'm buying it and putting them right up in my Wakanda section.
Oh,
I might have to put him on the throne. Take the key off. I got the key on the throne right now, but White
oh,
T'Challa come out, he going up there.
oh my God! Please give us a White T'Challa Marvel
Please.
Legends figure.
Oh my God.
I
I
need
haven't
commitment.
started bugging Dan Young yet, but I need to.
Oh,
All right.
that is
What's your next book?
yeah. So speaking of torture and grotesque murders, so uh, beneath the trees where
Oh
nobody
God.
sees, Rite of Spring issue #1 came out this month.
Oh
So
God.
uh, this being the sequel to the breakout series from Patrick Horvath, who writes and draws this book. Beneath the Trees Where Nobody Sees, the original series was about this bear. She looks like something off. She looks
He
like
looks
something
like
off.
the polo bear.
Yeah, yeah. Polo bear, something off of like the Busy World of Richard Scarry, like something like that. Like this is a bear that you grew up watching on Nick Jr.
Yes.
And and she lives in like this, Mr. Rogers type small town where it's like everybody knows everybody. Like your local grocery store is like the farmer's market. You know, you don't go to Home Depot, you go to the local hardware store that's like owned by Harry, and it's like, oh hey, what's up? And so anyway, she's living in this small town, and what we find out in the first series is that she lives in this small town that's like all nondescript and everything, but she's a serial killer, and so she goes every so often. I don't know if it's every weekend or what, but it's like every so often she will just drive to like the big city, right? So, let's say she's from upstate. She drives to the city, kills somebody because it's like it's city life. Nobody will ever notice they're missing or whatever. They'll never trace it back to me. Goes back and keeps living her small town life, right? So in the first series, what happens is there's a murder in that small town, and it's kind of like, in the same way that she might do it. And so she's like, if people come digging trying to find whoever killed this person, they're gonna find out that I'm a killer too. And so she's got to solve this murder before the police do. And she's
And
trying.
everybody's animals, right, in this
Yeah,
book, right?
everybody's
Yeah.
animals.
Yeah,
Everybody's
that's
animals.
right. Yeah. Okay.
And so it's like what's the part that was crazy about the series is like this juxtaposition of like, it's
Everything
all
is crazy.
these cute animals or whatever, but there's all this like murder going on, like, and these people are dying and being like put on display in the craziest ways. So it's
Yeah.
definitely like that body horror, like all the stuff you don't like, right? And and to be fair, I don't either, but the fact that it was
But
little
yeah.
animals, I was cool with it. I was
Yeah,
cool with
here
it.
we are.
Right, here we are. So, spoiler alert, Big Cuddly Bear doesn't get caught in the first series.
Nice.
And I'm just like, okay, cool. This is a nice little, one-shot series or whatever. Cool. Well, in the sequel, what we get is like the sister of one of her victims. Like we find out that it's been like 8 years that have passed since her brother went missing, and she's been hounding the police, hounding all the hospitals. Like, okay, every time a coroner report comes along, like, let me go see if this is my brother, trying to identify the body. This takes place in like the early 90s, so it's like, or the mid 90s, so it's just at the beginning of like the internet and message boards and stuff. And so now she's got like she's on her computer,
Oh no.
and she's like, basically this girl's full-time job is trying to find out what happened to her, for all she knows, missing brother. And so she gets a tip to go to this small town of Woodbrook because there might be some clues as to where her missing brother ended up. And so now that brings us back to the town with the big cuddly bear that's been perpetrating all this. And to spoil the end of issue 1, it turns out the bear is who invited the serial killer invited the victim's sister to the town.
Oh God.
And we leave it right there. I don't know why she invited her. I don't know if like the plan was like, let's kill the sister too. She's asking too many questions. I don't know. But what I enjoyed about it was like when I heard they were doing a sequel, I was like, this book did not need a sequel.
Yes.
We don't need more of this.
Yeah, we don't.
But then like when you read the first issue, it just feels like it could have been like issue 7 of the first series. Like it was a logical jumping on point. Like, well, yeah, because the idea was that because the victims were all from the big city, they're like these John Does, nobody cares about them, it'll never come back. And it's like, well, no, all these victims, there's got to be at least there's somebody's son at the very least, somebody's
Mm-hmm.
child at the least, right? But they might have other family, loved ones, and like how would that impact those people? And I thought that was an interesting enough question to come back for this series, and it's got me intrigued for round two.
All right. Just like you felt about They Choose Violence, I probably will never read this book. I read the first issue of Beneath the Trees. I
Mm,
think my man Dimitri recommended to me at the Anyone Comics because he's an asshole. And so I was like, all right. Um, I enjoyed it, but again, it was very dark. For everyone out there, it's very dark as hell. But like BJ said, the art is bright and colorful and cheery. And it's like, I'm just a little bear, and
yeah.
here's my rabbit friend. And it looks like you said something, but it looks like there was this kind of like what's to do with the fist?
Oh, Arthur. Yeah,
Arthur,
it
yes.
does. It kind of looks like
Yes.
Arthur
It
for
looks
sure.
like Arthur, and then Arthur's murdering everyone in horrible ways.
Right. Right.
Yes.
Like just so this is one of those books that is deceptive, right? I have to hide
Yeah.
it. I have three kids.
Oh my God, you had to hide
And
this
it's
book.
it's one of those books that
Lord
is
have
like
mercy.
they will absolutely open it if they just saw the
Yes.
cover. And like,
Wow.
no, you cannot read this book.
Wow.
Like,
Yeah. I
you
didn't think
know,
of that.
I think we're
Mhm.
far enough into this not to get demonetized, but in that first issue that Ben's talking about, she kills this dude, chainsaws his body into a bunch of bits,
Yes.
puts all the parts in like individual paint cans and buries the paint cans in the forest. Like
Yeah. Beneath
that,
the trees.
yeah, beneath the trees where nobody would see. That now the title makes sense. You did the
Yeah.
thing. I didn't even connect that. That's crazy.
Oh no. Yeah. I caught it right away when I read that. I was like, I can't believe how horrific this book is.
Yeah. Yeah. And so I think the art style, like for me, somehow takes away from the grotesque nature of
Yes, definitely it
it.
does.
It's
Yeah.
these pretty watercolors and stuff.
Hmm.
Like it almost makes you want to like just like sit there and look like, oh, this is so pretty. Oh, snap, that's an intestine. Like that is how you feel.
That's the same thing of Out of Alcatraz. So that's what Out of
Mhm.
Alcatraz immediately reminded me of Beneath the Trees. It's different because it's humans,
Yeah.
but it still has that watercolory, dreamy feel where it's like, oh, this is so beautiful. Oh my God, that's horrific.
Right.
That's how it is. Because it's so beautiful, and then horrific stuff happens, and you're like, oh my God, this is a very dark book.
Mm,
Yeah. So it's that same type of vibe.
got you.
Yeah, it's just with humans, and nowhere. I have to say, Beneath the Trees is definitely, at least off that first issue, like on magnitude scales of more violent than Out of Alcatraz. It's like
I
by
think
by several magnitudes.
for me, I think Beneath the Trees, the original series, was more about the mystery than the
Mm-hmm.
murders. And so that first issue, you do spend a lot of time like seeing her going through all the violence or whatever.
Yes.
And in subsequent issues, there is still the violence, but you're mostly seeing like the result of it because the
Mm-hmm.
like putting the bodies on display.
Oh
You're not
God.
seeing the act go down because they don't want to reveal who it is doing it.
Yeah.
So
No, but it's still, even the other one we just about, They Choose Violence. I think it's more description than even Beneath the Trees debut. Like Beneath the Trees,
mm,
like, no, here's this dude chopped up. Like,
right.
yeah, it's a lot more description in They Choose Violence than that. But yeah. All right. I'm still not gonna cheer it up. I'm gonna save my goofiness for the end of it all. And I'm gonna talk about a book that will probably be, I don't want to do this book every month, so I'm just going to do it right now, and then we'll see how it goes, because it probably could be in my top four, and usually is for me every month. And that's Power Fantasy, The Power Fantasy by Kieran Gillen and Casper Wingard. I think that's how you pronounce the last name.
I believe so.
Yep. Two of the greatest out right now. Kieran is a friend of mine, actually. Now, I've been a fan of his forever, and we became friends over the years. And so I'm a bit biased, but I also just think the Power Fantasy is just an excellent, excellent read every month. Kieran knows how to tell a story. That's the one thing. Like, Kieran really knows how to give you cliffhanger after cliffhanger, how to give you enough reveals and enough information where, if you're paying attention, you'll get it. But if you're not paying attention, it'll go right over your head and you'll be sitting there like, oh, why didn't I not see that? It was right there. Like he did it to me repeatedly on The Wicked and Divine. There's so many times where I was so mad. And if you haven't ever read The Wicked and Divine, it's to me probably in my top 5 comic books of all time. Top 3, I don't know, maybe one, I don't know. It's one of those books for me. But the Power Fantasy, the series, let me give a quick synopsis of it, is about it's its own world. It doesn't take place in any other universe that you know. And in this universe, it's just like our own, except there are 6 or 7 at any time super powered people. And when we talk about superpowered, they're called atomics in this universe. And the atomics are, each one of them is equal to the level of a superpowered nation. Like there's Etienne, a black man telepath, who is Charles Xavier on crack. My man is, Charles to the 10th power. Then there's the Heavy, who is a gravity manipulator who can literally, and at one point threatens to throw Texas into orbit. And so it's a book about these 5 or 6 or 7 people who are constantly maintaining this Cold War status between them all, because if they ever fought, it would destroy so much of the world.
Right.
So they have to constantly maintain this thing. So it's a book about superpowers without any real fights in it. And there are massive displays of power at certain points, and a lot of things have happened. It's a alternate universe type book where it's going back and forth. It's jumping around from different times, where it's going to end pretty much in 1999, and it goes back to 1945, I think it is, when the first atomic bomb drops, and when in this world, which creates the first atomics.
Gotcha. I did read some of the series. I'm trying to remember how much of it I read. I know I picked up the first trade. I think I might have read like the first 2 or 3 issues. And
man,
I was intrigued by just the whole idea that it's like, all right, you better hope diplomacy works, because if they ever go to war, that's it for everybody.
Yep. No, it's like I say, I'm a fan of Kieran in general. If you like, his other work, Wicked and Divine, Young Avengers, Die, I think this is definitely up there with any of them. It's one of my favorites from him. I've never really read Casper's art, but I became an instant fan of him. I got him to do a sketch for me. I bought a piece of art from him. And it's just this book where things are being revealed. I wouldn't even say slowly, because it's a lot happens. Like in issue 10, we finally, well, not finally, but the reveal of Jackie Magus, who is exactly behind the mask, happens. And that's all I'll really say. But once again, this is one of those things where I kind of noticed there was a similarity. I'm like, yo, what is going on there? Why do these characters look like that? Early on in the series. And then it all comes together in this issue. And I'm, you idiot. It was right there in front of your face the whole time. Of course, that's why those 2 characters look like that. But it's building to a head in the next few issues. Kieran has talked about different, I'm not sure how long this book will go on. He says he has a format where it could be 16 issues, or it could be 24, or it could be up to like 40 something. So I'm not sure which timeline he's working on right now. We're at issue 10 and things are popping off. I'm really not trying to spoil too much of this book, because it's just one of those books that I think that everyone should give a read if you're intrigued at all by the concept. Because, and it's one of those books where things are happening every issue pretty much, where those are major spoilers, especially as we're getting into this second arc, where there's a lot of reveals happening issue after issue. But man, it's been a beautiful ride so far. Like I say, Casper's art alone, man, is just some of the most beautiful and then horrific art you will ever see. Because, like I say, these dudes have enormous power. And when things do happen, they happen. At one point, they had to confront this interdimensional being called the Queen, who was basically trying to bring heaven on earth, and was succeeding, and then for some reason felt like they weren't doing enough. It's not enough, in the words of Kendrick. And when they realized that, they went buck, and that ended with the destruction of England and all landmass pretty much up to a part of Russia. So all of Europe and a little bit of Western Asia turned to nothing.
Wow.
Yeah. And so that's the level that they are on. When this interdimensional being comes in and shows you, okay, this was what happens if any two of us ever go at it. We
Okay.
lose a continent.
So this series uh came out basically right on the heels of the Immortal X-Men, like all that Fall of X stuff.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
And when it was the reviews then were like, okay, so if you like the Quiet Council stuff,
Yes.
this is what Kieran would have done if like he could do whatever he wanted with the X-Men. How accurate is that statement now that we've got like so many issues in?
I honestly didn't feel it was even that accurate then. And I think Kieran would agree because I thought Immortal X-Men and what was it, Infernal X-Men, when they flipped it to the Sins of Sinister stuff, was
Yeah.
Kieran just really wilding out, because they go to extremes in that where I didn't even enjoy it all that much. I thought some of the, I love the Krakoa era. It is my favorite era of X-Men since probably, original Claremont stuff and Morrison, of course. But some of that with the Dominion and everything felt like all right, whatever. And like Charles Xavier, commanding galaxies, etc. It just felt a little silly, honestly, to me. It was just a little like, okay, is that we're in a sandbox type of situation, and let's all mash these characters together.
Yeah.
This is not that at all.
Okay.
This is very methodical. I guess it is maybe in the sense that if you had the Quiet Council and what Kieran would do, instead of doing, let's all mash each other together. But I didn't, because it's so different from, what happened in Sins of Sinister and some of his Immortal X-Men run, I wouldn't compare them at all.
Okay.
Yeah, it is it's a book that takes a lot of time to really distrust the ideals of what is ethical versus what is moral and things of that nature. And I actually confronted Kieran on it when we interviewed him about it, because I felt like a lot of the characters were ignoring the rules of what Ferris Bueller said, or they're spitting a lot of isms. Like Ferris Bueller at the end of this film, I think when he's giving one of the speeches, or I can't remember what point, but he's like, I don't believe in isms. Socialism, this ism, communism. Basically saying all these systems are just systems.
Okay.
And, humans fuck up systems, basically. F up. I'm trying to keep my cursing to a minimum on this. I'll believe that. But I challenged him because a lot of the characters, like Etienne, is this black man who's a telepath. And I was like, does Etienne believe that he's black? And I was like, I don't think he does. I think he's above all that because he's just such an insane level of telepathy. And Kieran said no, and we'll see that. I still have not seen that yet. I'm still not the biggest fan of Etienne in general, but I think that a lot of what Etienne's always someone who says, I'm taking the ethical way out of this. He's like, I'm not moral, I'm ethical. So I do the ethical thing, which in a lot of cases is horrific. But like at one point when Heavy's threatening to throw Texas into orbit, he kills Etienne instead, kills the president, all the president's council, everybody involved in this plot to kill Heavy. And he does it, with his telepathy, and whap, all of them die. And he's like, well, that's more ethical than you throwing Texas into orbit.
Gotcha.
But it's still a horrific action.
And he's making these crazy decisions. It's like, who's going to?
Yes. And a lot of what he says and does to me rings false. It rings of someone who's just saying it to say it, because he even makes one statement that is really disturbing where he has said he affects himself. He uses his powers on himself. So he doesn't really have any guilt. And I'm like, that sounds like a white man. No shots, but.
Word.
So again, though, I'm quite intrigued. One spoiler in this issue, two characters say they have 3 days to kill Etienne. And I, jumped out of my seat screaming, like, yes, get him, get him. It's my 2 favorite characters, too. So I was like, yes, get him. So I think he's going to kill them both, though. But, we'll see what happens. Okay. The Power Fantasy on sale now. It's an incredible book. I really encourage everybody to check it out.
Dope. Yeah, I'll have to get back on that.
Yeah.
So my last book is another series debut. It is The Unchosen, issue number 1
Mm.
from Image Comics.
I know
Uh,
nothing.
okay, so this is
Yep.
written and drawn by David Marquez, who is the artist on Uncanny X-Men right now with Gail Simone.
Oh, okay, okay. Wait, the Uncanny. Uncanny is the one with
They're in New Orleans with Rogue on the team.
and the new kids. Is that the one
Yeah,
with the
with
new
the new
kids?
kids.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. 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 I don't
So
really know his art like that, but I feel like I've seen him on something before that X-Men. I know the name.
probably I want to.
Yeah.
He was doing a lot of covers and stuff too.
Okay.
You've seen his work most likely.
Mm-hmm.
So that's what had me intrigued about this series. So The
Yep.
Unchosen, it's about this young lady named Aida. Um, and it's I think it's only a 4-issue miniseries. And to be fair,
Mm.
first issue doesn't really tell us a whole lot. It kind of just drops us in this world. But Aida basically is she's in this world. She's going to like this magical school. Like basically she's at Hogwarts, right? And she's doubting herself. She's down on herself because she's not as naturally gifted in like magic as her peers. And
Mm-hmm.
so like there's the Malfoy stand-in who's like just cruel to her. The whole thing is like she should have the power to like she's trying to resurrect this bird. One of her friends comes across a dead bird. So she's trying to like use magic to bring this bird back to life, but she can't do it because she's not as gifted. So the bully kid comes and like basically torments her with the dead bird, like animating the bird's body. And so to retaliate, she just punches the kid in the face. And that's where like the world kind of opens up. And what we learn is like she's at this school not because she's the most talented or gifted or whatever, but like something happened and the sort of headmasters of this school kind of adopted her, just kind of brought her in to this
Mm.
school type situation.
Mm-hmm.
And she is basically on the run, or they are shielding her from these outside forces that are trying to like capture her because it is believed by everyone, perhaps except her, that she's Neo. She's the one. Like she's Harry Potter or whatever.
Yeah.
And
So it's
so
very much Harry Potter.
yeah. So it's like the whatever destiny is on her, they're trying to bring it out of her. And she's not seeing how it's gonna work. Um it for me, I watched 1.5 Harry Potter movies, right? So it's like,
Okay.
I know certain characters, and that's kind of
Mm-hmm.
what got me with this was just the way they talk about magic, right?
Mm.
The ability to use magic is known as like your mastery of
Mm.
the words of magic. And so the book actually opens up with like this sort of title page and it just says, in the beginning was the word.
Mm.
So I mean, I'm always a sucker for like religious references, right?
Yeah.
Like, okay, so because I'm listening to an interview and he's like, he's not crazy religious. He grew up like, in a religious household, but he's not really practicing or anything like that. So it's like, okay, like what are we gonna do with this like idea if we're gonna pull in these religious themes and quote scriptures and stuff like how is that gonna relate to this world? So I'm curious of like what the world building is, who these people are that are after Aida, how long it's gonna take for her to like master her powers and then like save the day, presumably against these sinister forces. It was enough to be like intrigued for issue 2. My
Mm-hmm.
concern though is that, like I said, we didn't get a whole lot in issue
Mm.
1 beyond what I just told you.
Mm-hmm.
And so it's like, is there enough time to even build this story in 4 issues to, give it a real, rise and fall? But I don't know.
Is Aida a black woman?
No, nobody in
Mm.
this book is black that I can
Uh,
remember. There might have
oh,
been
okay.
a black background character.
But they're all white or
Yeah, everybody's white.
uh, I mean David Marquez, I was expecting some, a little spice up in there. Yeah.
Okay, okay, I lied. So the little boy that she's trying to help resurrect this bird with is definitely a black kid.
Wait, I did read this book.
Okay.
I think, or am I just confusing that with Christopher Chaos now? Because Christopher Chaos is a resurrected bird.
Hmm.
No, I feel like I did read this book. When did this drop? This like a couple weeks ago?
Beginning of the month, I want to say. Let me look.
Yeah, maybe, yeah, because it's been yeah. I think I did. I'll have to go look it up again, but I think I might have read that because I always, like I say, if I see a new number one with an interesting name, I always try and give it a read. And I think I saw the Unchosen because that's a name where I'm like, okay, I got to check that out. Like,
Yeah,
that's just a fire name. So,
yeah,
all right,
and
I think I'm gonna have to reread one and then go for number two because yeah.
it was interesting enough. The
Mm-hmm.
all these characters we got on the cover to issue one, we don't really see a whole lot from them. So I'm curious to see how they all play in to it.
Okay. All right. All right. For my last book, I will finally bring something a little bit more cheerful and uplifting. Well, I can't say this book is uplifting, but it's definitely cheerful and hilarious. And
Okay.
I really did not expect to enjoy it nearly as much. I expected to not like it, honestly. I went in with like, whatever. And I loved it. Godzilla Destroys the Marvel Universe, issue one by Gary Duggan, who's done a lot of X-Men stuff, which I've kind of liked and kind of didn't. And Javier Garron is the penciler.
Yeah.
Um, it is exactly what the title says. Godzilla shows up in the modern Marvel universe and immediately starts wrecking shop. I loved it. It is just it's like one of those books that knows exactly what it is, right?
Yeah.
Like the a celestial, I think, is awoken by Godzilla, or Godzilla is awoken by the celestial. So Godzilla attached to celestial, and the narration is sitting there talking about how the celestial was designed to exist in the heart of the sun and the coldness of interstellar space, but not Godzilla. And then Godzilla tears the celestial's head off.
Right. Yeah.
And, so it's that type of book.
Yeah.
At one point, Mole Man gets punched in the face because all the heroes are trying to be mad quiet and let Godzilla just walk away because they can't
Mhm.
do anything about him. And
Right.
Mole Man like shoots him in the back, and enrages him again. And so Reed just punches Mole Man in the face, like, you idiot. And it's just, it's that type of silliness in this book. I'm not sure if any of the heroes actually do get murdered in the first issue, other than the Celestial getting his head torn off.
Right.
But Godzilla is wrecking shop throughout the Marvel universe. I think I enjoyed this because I picked up the first issue of that Avengers versus the Alien,
Uh-huh.
which is just, I don't know, just like it didn't do it for me. I never went back for issue two. I just like, come on, man, it's the Avengers. They should rub out like a planet of aliens if they feel like it.
Word.
Yeah, it's like, bro, they got acid blood. I'm Tony Stark, like I literally have no. I'm Thor, a god. No, it's not. We're not the same. So yeah, I didn't really enjoy that. I know they had a Spider-Man versus the Predator. I think that I actually am intrigued because I love all those Predator crossovers. Like Predator versus Archie is one of my favorite books ever. He murders them all. It was
Yeah.
amazing.
Did you read The Predator versus Black Panther?
Oh no, I'm at to go back for that.
That one was good too. Like I
Okay.
didn't even finish it, but what I enjoyed was just the Predator had a legit reason to be fighting Black Panther, and I was like,
Mm,
make that happen. Like, but that was dope. Um,
okay.
but Godzilla destroys the Marvel universe.
Yeah.
Um, First of all, I thought this was because they've been doing this Godzilla versus
Yep.
Marvel character here,
Mm-hmm.
and so when I saw the solicit for a collected edition of this first,
Mm.
I thought that was those stories being collected. I didn't realize
Okay. Yep.
it was a separate series,
Yes.
but I picked up issue one as well,
Yeah.
and no, it's just like you said. I mean, it's not taking itself too seriously. This is very much like what would happen if Godzilla just came to Manhattan
Yeah.
and decided to set up shop. Like,
Yeah.
and it does spend a fair amount of time just telling you how much like Godzilla is inevitable and no one stands a chance.
Yeah. When he
Right.
tore off the Celestial's head, like,
Yeah. And
no
then
problem.
so the rest of the issue is basically just like, every hero you can think of coming in, giving you like two or three lines of dialogue to basically say the
Getting
same thing. Like,
ripped.
oh, there's nothing I could do with this.
Yeah.
you know. But for
That
me,
panel
that
of
was
them trying to be quiet so he could leave. It's like,
that that was fun for me, just seeing all the different Marvel characters and like,
Yeah.
he didn't have to spend a lot of time doing characterization, but I feel like he got the voices and the quips.
Mhm. Yeah, because Reed punching Mole Man like you idiot was just like that's Reed. Like someone asked me today on Threads, they were like, if because we were talking about on Four on Nerd Show on a review of Fantastic Four, that it was really nice to see a more intelligent Johnny Storm than is
Mm.
normally portrayed. And someone was like, well, Sue is smart and Johnny's smart and Thing is smart. What's the difference? What's Reed got? I was like, well, he's got being an a-hole. Like, he's got that down pat, bro. That's all him. None of the
Right.
other Fantastic Four can lay claim to that one. Like, being a complete monster, Reed got it. You know what I mean? He got that. So, yeah, no, I felt like this got it down.
Yeah, nah, I'm sitting here going through the issue again.
I
And,
can't because I'll start cracking up.
it is it's this is the type of book you need, right? Like
Yes.
I'm going through, I gotta cut stuff from my pull list. Like if I don't make cuts, I'm gonna be spending like $90 a week for
Oh
it.
God.
Right.
Jesus.
So it's like, all right, we gotta cut some stuff off.
Mm-hmm.
This is probably not gonna survive the round of cuts.
Yeah.
But this is one of those books that's like when you got a heavy pull list, you got, especially you start pulling all those indie titles and some of them just like super serious and like
Mm-hmm.
existential dread and all that. This is the palate cleanser for sure.
Yes.
You
Yes.
need that.
No, because like I said, I went in with a hateful face. And I think I saw in a preview, that he tore the Celestial's head off. And that made me like, nah, I gotta see. Because I read that line of dialogue where it's like, he can survive all of this, but not Godzilla.
Right.
I was like, all
Right.
right, this book gets it. Like that
Now,
was up there with like, that first page of All-Star Superman, just
yeah.
being like brilliant levels of dialogue.
This is not going to come through on camera, but like everybody's face, right?
They just shook. They got nothing for him.
They're like, oh my God.
My man just said I just to be quiet and try and let him leave. I can't get over that.
That is amazing.
It's just like, he just hope he goes away.
Right.
Oh my God. All right. So yeah, like no, like BJ said, man, if you got too many of them darkness books on your pull list, if you're like, because that's how I felt when I looked it up. I was like, I'm reading all these, they choose violence out of Alcatraz. Even the power fantasy is, very much morality, ethics, and all this stuff. I was like, I just need to see this. And it was just what I needed. Like, I need a book like this every month, honestly. It doesn't have to be Godzilla Destroys the Marvel Universe, but every month I need to be reading something like this that is just utterly ridiculous and honestly gets what comic books should be, Because that's to me, like, you can do all that other stuff, but sometimes you got to get back to, ridiculousness.
Yeah. You just got to read something fun.
Yes. Before we get out of here, speaking of reading something fun, Jimi Hendrix Purple Haze, co-written by me and my brother Mello Brown, Eisner nominated for its colors by the one Justin Prokowicz, with of course the amazing art by Tom Mandrake, is in stores now, selling out as we speak. The first run is done at production at the publisher. It's over. So the copies that you see in stores right now are the last of the first run. So go ahead and get one. If you want a signed copy, hit up Anyone Comics. We'll put the link down in the bio. I know BJ has a local comic store that he wants to give a shout out to as well.
Sure. Yeah. If you're in the Raleigh area, come through Fight or Flight Comics in the Triangle Town Center Mall.
Mm-hmm.
I believe they have copies of this book on hand as well.
I got to come down there and do some signing, man, real soon.
Yeah.
Like,
they would love to have you.
Yeah, we'll definitely have to set that up because I got to get down there. How far is Durham from there?
Durham and Raleigh are like neighboring towns.
Oh, bro, I got to because I I did a retreat recently, and one of my brothers who I met there is from Durham, and so that's like, I'm going to every town these people are in, so I'm there soon.
Yeah, no, if you're in Durham, less than 30 minutes.
Oh, I'm there then. Okay, we'll set this up very soon then.
Bet.
Definitely. All right. Before we get out of here, please, tell the people where they can find you at and all that good stuff.
Oh yeah, I'm BJ Kicks on all the socials. If you're looking for my channel, it's called Comics Are Dope. I named it that because they are. So
Mm-hmm.
find me on YouTube, and out here in these digital streets.
This will probably be on your YouTube, so they'll actually be watching it right now.
Oh yeah. Well, thanks for being here. Thanks for doing that.
Hit that like and subscribe while you're here.
All
You
that.
know what I mean? All that good stuff. And I'm DJ BenHaMeen on all the socials as well. And you can find me on at For All Nerds as well on all the socials. That's my podcast and show with my partner Tatiana King, where we discuss geek and pop culture from the perspective of people of color. And like we've been saying over the last year, from Black people, because some of y'all people of color got to get your minds right out there. So we from blackity black people too.
It's for Black people anyway.
Yeah, it's for everyone, but it's from the perspective of the Black, and I mean Black.
Nice.
Yes, but thank you to everyone, like I said, for joining us here on this Comics Are Dope and Comics I Copped collaboration. We're gonna have to figure out a better name for it, but it's a lot of comics, and we'll be back next month. Well, this is August by the time y'all hear this and see this, but we'll be back next month for the best of August as well. We'll be doing this monthly, and of course, make sure you check out both of our channels for more comics every week. We both do reviews, all that type of stuff all the time, interviews with all kind of luminous and luminaries. So make sure you check them out.
For sure. Thank you guys.
Thank you.